Now that I had time to gather my thoughts together, we are basically going to dissect this game into depth, and I'm going to show you some things that basically caught my interest and excited me throughout the game as we basically kicked the Arizona Cardinals' ass. But before I do get into any of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chiefs related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have a little bit of fun. And who would have thought we're going to be starting this video off talking about some kickers. And yes, this is going to pertain to Harrison Butker and his injury. As we all do know, he sustained an injury in the first quarter, actually on his first kickoff. I do not know the severity of this injury yet. I haven't seen much released on that. If anyone does know, please let me know in the comments down below if you do have the inside scoop. But right now, what it's looking like, the Kansas City Chiefs had a 6-kicker battle in practice today. And Matt Amendola was the first one to win it, and that means he got signed to the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. He was formerly on the Jets practice squad. Now, what do I make of that? I don't know. I don't know the dude whatsoever. So if you were looking for some inside scoop on who Matt Amendola was, or how good he is at kicking, or what he's done in his college career or in his NFL career, my channel wasn't the one to come to on an update on that. I do know that he was in battle with 6 guys that not famous NFL kickers, but like known names that honestly aren't good, well named, like Cody Parkey. We know him for his infamous struggles in Chicago. Chase McLaughlin, he also struggled with the Chargers, and also a former kicker that was with Kansas City, Elliott Fry. I think it was either when it was Cairo Santos or it was Bucker when one of them got hurt, and we brought him in for 1 week and then we let him go. But 3 guys right there. Not really well known for the right reasons, and then the other 3 guys, other 2 guys I never heard of, and then this guy as well I never heard of. So I really don't got much to make of it. I just hope that if he is elevated up, which I think he will be, because I think it's too quick of a turnaround for Butker. We saw him in the game, even though Butker is a dog, drilling a 54-yard field goal off of 1 step. Like, that was remarkable. I gained a new respect for him. I just don't see him consistently doing that, and honestly, you don't want him to do that either, because then he hurts himself even more, and then you could lose him for even a longer time. So just let him heal up, because he is one of the best kickers in the league, and just let him do what he needs to do, and hopefully it's not too long of a timeout to where, hey, we can get him back healthy and ready to go. And now I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom, including myself, I even asked ESPN, hey, when are we going to put Justin Reid as a kicker so I can add him on my fantasy team? I know that is a fantasy for all of us to have, and honestly, that was really unrealistic too. It was cool to see him week 1, and it was cool to see him actually make an extra point, and then to see him basically bombing kicks out of the end zone. But for him to sustain it for a few weeks, that I think you wear a player out, and last thing you want to do is play Justin Reid more than he needs to be played, and then he can also get an injury as well. So it was a cool little fantasy to see, a fantasy basically come to reality in 1 week, and he also gained my respect too. I've loved Justin Reid coming in here. He brings that cool leadership, mentorship, and then you see his play on the field. What's not to love about him? So it looks like Saturday. In Thursday's game, we're going to be running with Matt Amendola, but if Butker somehow, someway has a miraculous revive and his leg doesn't bother him, his ankle, then he might play. I just think it's a very long shot. Now, speaking of injuries, we're going to stick right there, unfortunately, because if you did watch the game, or if you are a huge fan of Chiefs Kingdom, there was a lot of unfortunate injuries. None of them seem too big time, but we're going to go through this list, and this is where I'm going to get a little unprofessional with y'all, because this list is so long. I'm going to have to look down on my paper. So we're going to start off with, of course, Butker and McDuffie. They did not practice, and honestly, McDuffie's status is up in the air too. It seems better than what we thought initially when everyone hears he failed on his own. You think of a torn ACL, a torn Achilles. Right now it's looking like a strained hamstring, and that was due to the turfing that Spagnuolo mentioned. Well, not turfing, but the field situation that was going on in Arizona, and he just happened to basically stumble upon himself. So hopefully that's nothing too severe. Hopefully he can be out there Thursday, but I know it's a quick turnaround. Let's get back to this list. We got Orlando Brown, which kind of surprised me with his knee. You have Trey Smith, ankle. We saw that happen in live action. He was a limited participant. You have Juju and Watson. All those were limited participants. The one that basically caught my eye, though, was Orlando Brown, because I didn't know he got hurt. I heard little rambles on Twitter, people saying that it looked like he was limping and went down. It was something I missed, so hopefully that's nothing too big, and especially against the Chargers, because you got two badass dudes in Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack that are going to cause havoc and try to get to Mahomes all day. And yes, speaking of Mahomes, you didn't hear me mention his name because of course he was a full participant. Of course he's going to do his thing, and of course he's going to be available in this game. He did say that his wrist was sore, but it was nothing he couldn't overcome after the Arizona Cardinal game. So anticipate him playing in this game, and especially against Herbert, and especially since it's early on, but this game means a lot for the fact now you had the Denver Broncos basically lay an egg against Seattle. Russ, what are we doing? You wasn't cooking. Geno Smith was cooking. Come on now. Denver should easily handle Seattle, but that's for like a Seattle channel, a Denver channel. I just had to mention it because that was quite shocking. And then, of course, you have the Chargers beating the Raiders. So whoever wins this Thursday night game gets the early advantage in this division. And every game matters in this division because you see the powerhouses in this division. They're all coming for Kansas City. And if Kansas City can get one game up on everyone, that is saying a lot moving forward. But Orlando Brown's injury surprised me. Juju a little bit, but not too much because, yes, he did play the length of the game, but it was still his knee. And I think it's more precautionary to have him limited. Don't overwork him going into LA because you're going to need him, and watch out for that. And then Trey Smith, we saw the ankle. Hopefully he's limited, and hopefully he can stay throughout the week and do that and then be full-time ready to go against the Chargers. And then Watson. I didn't see the injury with that one either. I heard that he was carted off and it was a chest injury. I would have to see what happened because it was a play where the ball wasn't even towards him. I think it was a running play when I heard that happen too. So I'd have to see what happened and analyze it from there. But if he's good to go, that would be great because the depth and the speed that he brings to this team is very, very good. But a long list of injuries, nothing too damaging besides the fact of a McDuffie and a Bucker. Bucker's the main one that we know could possibly be out, but if McDuffie is too, we're going to get a little bit more into that too in this video, so stay tuned. And now let's get right into the fun stuff. I'm going to give you 3 things right off the bat that basically excited me moving forward into this season. And number 1, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I kind of called it, and it's this running back group. And we're also going to talk about this tight end group as well, but I'm going to mostly focus on the running back group. I called that Clyde Edwards-Helaire in my bold predictions would have 75-plus rush yards. He had 74 total yards. Yeah, I know total. But I'm still going to give myself kudos because he looked very, very impressive. And I just love the way he was running too. And I love the rotation that this running back group have. Everyone is going to eat. And we heard that from Mahomes with the wide receiving core. But it looks like this whole offense is going to eat. And specifically in the running back group with CEH, Jet McKinnon, and Isaiah Pacheco. And then when the numbers actually came out, I loved the rotation. In the first 2 quarters, it was basically Jet McKinnon and CEH. They both split it. They both had 9 touches in the first and in second quarter. And then Isaiah Pacheco started getting involved with 4 touches. And then when it got to the third and then fourth, CEH started sliding out, but that wasn't due to production. I think that's just the rotation they're going to run with. Jet McKinnon solely handled the third quarter. We'll kind of split it a little bit with Isaiah Pacheco. And then that grown man took over and closed the game and showed out and got his first NFL touchdown. Like I mentioned, and I also did it in my bold predictions too, Kansas City, the way they were going to win this game against Arizona was they were going to establish a run game. Now, I don't want to say that's the reason they won the game because Mahomes went fucking ballistic. And he threw 5 touchdowns and almost 400 yards. And when he does that, you ain't going to beat him. But when you add a run game like that too, you ain't going to beat them. And Arizona did not know what hit them. When you have a passing game of over 360 yards and then you have a run game of over 100 yards, no one in this league is going to beat this team. And it's going to be interesting to see because there's going to be situations in this year where a team, and maybe even next week, the Chargers are going to zone in on something. Let's stop Mahomes in the pass. Will this run game step up? I want to see how that actually goes forward because I want to see, I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom doesn't. I want to see what happens when Mahomes kind of gets shut down to where he can't really find things. Can he relay on his run game like he couldn't before? And with this 3-headed monster, I'm not going to doubt them. I think you could stop one of them, and then you get popped with another one, and then you get popped with another one. You can't stop all 3 of them. They all are like a different type of aspect of the game. They all bring a different type of dimension to their to the skill set on the offense. It's fun to watch, and I'm excited for it because we haven't seen a really good run game in Kansas City since Kareem Hunt. And now if you can really establish a 3-headed monster, woo, the whole league will be put on notice. And people will say, it's just week 1, calm down. I don't know. I think this is an example of what Kansas City is going to be moving forward. Because now that we go into the tight end room as well with Travis Kelce, Jody Fortson, and Noah Gray, them boys ate too. And then you put all those together. Focus on the wide receiver room. Yes, there's depth there. But if you look at the numbers, those wide receiver numbers are nothing too crazy. McCole Hardman was the one who had his only touchdown. And let me focus on McCole Hardman because yesterday I kind of went after him. And I'm going to take a little bit of my comments back after basically watching some of the game again. And those passes were kind of more overthrown than I thought to. Just in live action, when you see those type of TV angles, you become victim of circumstance, and that's what I was. I was like, come on, dude. Like, really? You couldn't give me more than what that. It really just looked like he barely stretched his hand out. But then when you see it from different perspectives and different views, and then hear the quarterback speak on it as well, yeah, it was definitely on Mahomes. But Mahomes owned it, and then McCole even let all the people know too. That's on me. That's my bad. I will always correct myself when I'm in the wrong. So, McCole, I was too hard on you, but I do expect much more from him moving forward too. He literally, I don't want to say he looked too much of like Hill, but I like how the schemes they had him, and he was running all over the field too. And that's what I mentioned with MVS and Hardman. If defenses really think Kansas City lost their speed, you're gonna get got. But again, with the tight end room and the running back room, the wide receivers weren't focused. And if Mahomes can depend on running backs and tight ends and not even get wide receivers involved, what are you going to do to stop this team? Everyone had made a big deal about Tyreek Hill's not there no more. They're going to struggle without their number 1 option. Let me correct you. Travis Kelce's the number 1 option. And as long as he's here, this offense is going to be deadly. And that's another thing I want to see moving forward too, is adversity with Travis Kelce. When someone doubles Kelce, who's going to be that man to step up? And with the depth on this roster, I believe, unlike years past, someone will step up, and it's going to be impossible to stop this offense. Now, the next thing that caught my eye, and honestly, you can see it in the game, but it's more impressive when you rewatch it, and then when you see people actually give you the stats. But this pass rush was on a whole nother level, and it's what we needed it to be, because coming into the offseason, Chiefs Kingdom, everyone around the NFL media was like, Kansas City didn't upgrade this pass rush. They might have got worse. That's going to be a thing everyone will exploit. And if they can't get to the quarterback, good luck. This defense will be worse than last year. This stat really caught me by surprise, but George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, and Mike Dana, they all had 6 pressures. That is 1 less than what Max Crosby had in week 1-2. Those boys tied for second in pressures. That is crazy to have 3 guys get that amount of pressures. And then don't forget, Snead had a sack on a cornerback blitz, and Dunlap finished the play with the sack too. If this can be a really good pass rush and they can take it to the next level, this will really help out the secondary and the linebacking core too, and also help elevate this defense overall into being a top 15, if not top 10 defense. And again, like I mentioned, with the running backs and tight ends group stepping up too, if you give Mahomes a top 10 defense, how is he going to lose games? Like, he will literally perform in every game. So how is he going to lose, and how are you going to beat this team? Yes, I know, it's overreaction Monday. I am on my high horse. I'm going to be on it until the next game and until we talk about it, because it was a very exciting game. But what I seen on film and what you see through stat corrections and all that, Kansas City performed and lived up to the hype. And if this defense can sustain it week by week, and of course with better competition, which we're going to see next week too against the Chargers, if they have a good outing against the LA Chargers, whew, you might not want to sleep on this defense no more. Now, my last thing that really caught my eye was this cornerback room, and they really exceeded expectations. And I'm going to focus on the rookie and Trent McDuffie, because yes, I know he is hurt at the moment, but we didn't hear his name much. For good reason too, because on 21 snaps, he wasn't even targeted, he wasn't even looked at, he was holding his own and making sure, Kyler, you don't want to test me. And that could be big going forward too. Also on the severity of his injury as well, because he's not available against the Chargers. I still believe in my boy Jalen Watson. He actually was very impressive to me. I know people will be like, well, he gave up a touchdown. Watch the touchdown. That's a very impossible touchdown to cover. It's basically the same route Jody Fortson ran. When a receiver can come back in and basically box out the cornerback, not really many cornerbacks are going to win that matchup, and he was in position. It's just a wide receiver is going to make a play on the ball. But Watson had a couple good pass breakups, and he held his own too. For a 7th-round pick, one I basically disregarded because I thought Joshua Williams would be that next coming. But Jalen Watson is basically proving me wrong, and I love to see it. And he might be that next man up against the Chargers. And Chargers got some big-time receivers. And Keenan Allen, even though he is on the injury report, which we will discuss more going forward, big-time showtime, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, they got receivers. These DBs are going to need to step up next week because this is a different type of challenge moving forward than it was against Arizona. But let's keep focusing on this DB room because L'Jarius Sneed, I swear, he was all over the field. It felt like every play that was in the secondary, he was making a tackle, whether it was in the middle of the field, right side of the field, left side of the field. We saw him go after the quarterback with a sack. He was everywhere. He kind of reminded me of the early year with Tyrann Mathieu. Not saying they played the same type of position, but he was flying all over the field. And if he can do that throughout the season, he might be in for a Pro Bowl year. And that's what we all expect from L'Jarius Sneed moving forward too. I think we didn't hear much about Fenton whatsoever, but again, it's always good when you don't hear about a cornerback's name because that means they're holding their ground and they're holding their own. And Joshua Williams ended up coming in later in the game too, and I actually saw him make an impressive play as well. Again, he's going to be that up and down player. It's his rookie year. He's that raw talent guy. We're going to love him sometimes, and we're going to hate him. It just depends on the matchup he draws. But I was very, very impressed with this DB group because this could have went south way quickly. And to wrap up this video, I got one more topic for conversation. And if you did make it this far in this video, I greatly do appreciate y'all because this was a longer one. But we're going to get right into this. And it was PFF's rankings on our guy, Patrick Mahomes. And we're just going to go through the list. And I will let you guys have your own comments on it. And we're going to leave it at that. So let's have fun with it. Of course, number 1, Josh Allen, because everybody on his nuts right now. So it makes sense. We can roll with that. 2, you got Kirk Cousins, huge win. Sure, may have had good stats numbers. I didn't analyze that game. Ryan Tannehill, whatever. Herbert, cool. Winston, all right. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. They ain't even a number 7 on here. See, this is how not legit this list is. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 twice. See, we can't even type. There it is. So he has them tied. Okay, I see what it is. See, I'm overreacting. Let's calm down a little bit. But tied at 6, you got Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. And then you got Patrick Mahomes. And then shortly right under him, you got Davis Mills. So, and Patrick Mahomes is ranked actually a 71.5. And on their scale, that is almost a backup quarterback. So you're telling me 360 yards and 5 touchdowns is backup quarterback material. They're trying to make this game of football much more difficult than it's got to be. Just watch the tape and enjoy it and have fun. They even try to explain themselves, and honestly, you was best off not leaving an answer saying that, oh, Mahomes threw a touchdown to Eller and it was a busted coverage by the defense. What was he supposed to do? Oh, he's wide open. Let me go somewhere else because I'm going to get a better PFF score. Yeah, makes complete sense. And then when they said he had 1 turnover-worthy play, it was on the free play. If it was going to be intercepted, guess what? It wouldn't have counted. So I don't know who's doing those kind of stats, analytics whatsoever, but you might need a different daytime job because you're not benefiting anything for these stat correction people in the NFL. But that was my quick take on it. I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom got worked up about it, but it's nothing that too big of a deal because at the end of the day, we got the GOAT on our team, and he's going to put up Pro Bowl, MVP, Hall of Fame type numbers that we are all going to love. So that little type of stats can go to the side. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, dive in the comments down below. Let me know how you're feeling about this huge win of the Arizona Cardinals. What caught your eye and excited you the most? With that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video because I will be checking back in you tomorrow because we got a big game to get ready for this Thursday, and we got a couple days to get prepared. So I'm going to keep you in tune throughout the week. So hit that subscribe button. Give me that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.